These videos are not here to tell you how to listen to songs or how to interpret music in general. They're just my thoughts and opinions on music based on what I've learned over the years and my own experiences. I don't expect you to think of me as right or sole authority on these things. It's just another perspective that I hope you'll find interesting. So, this week's song is All Good Things, the second track on my album. I actually wrote this song back in my junior year of college and worked on it a little bit with one of the bands I was in at that time, hence the other music credits on the song. And there were a few different things I was trying to accomplish with it, at least musically. I'm huge into concept albums and progressive rock and that sort of stuff, but I also really enjoy shorter songs and non-progressive rock and stuff you hear on the radio. So it was sort of a challenge to myself to write something that didn't have to go on and on and on, and also to try and see how concise and clear I could be. The opposite of my last Songwriter video, basically, since that was 13 minutes long. In terms of the actual subject matter of the lyrics, it's sort of inspired by several different friendships I've had over the years where I thought things were fine, and then the other person's demeanor changed or something seemed to happen, and I wasn't entirely sure what exactly changed. And sort of what I get at with the last verse of the song is that in a few of these cases I didn't really understand what had happened, but I didn't make enough of it. I felt like I didn't make enough of an effort to actually talk to the person about it and figure out what was going on. Other times I did try to talk to the person and they didn't really respond well to that. But I think it's better to try than not to. Like when you look at bands, if you actually read about the reasons that they break up, obviously there's things like drugs and self-destructive habits and suicide and all these different things that are part of the history of rock and roll specifically that seem to be the causes of why bands break up and why artists sort of fall from grace, so to speak. But at the end of the day, if you really look at the stories of them, it's about communication, and it's about a feeling of, more often than not, a feeling of isolation and a feeling of distance from the other people. I read Inside Out by Nick Mason, the drummer of Pink Floyd. It was sort of his biography of the band, and at the end of the day, the reason that they fell apart was because of their lack of communication. They just didn't know how to talk to each other. Sure, there were a whole bunch of other things going on, drug issues and fame issues and all that sort of stuff, but it's a lot easier to handle that sort of stuff if you have people that you can communicate with and you can trust. And then the other part of the song is more the former part of the song rather than the latter half of it, is this idea that if you're in a relationship that you've been in for a while, a friendship or a romantic relationship or whatever, and you aren't happy in it and it's not going the way that you thought it would, sometimes you have to let go of those relationships. This song, like a lot of the songs that I write, was sort of my way of working through different things I don't understand about life in general or relationships I've had. And it sort of helped me let go of certain things that I've been hanging on to for a little too long or feeling guilty about even. Going back to the music side of things a little bit, one of the things that I like personally about this song is that, like, the first verse, there are no rhyming lines, and that was something that I sort of planned on continuing throughout the song, just because I think I've been having conversations with people at college about, like, does it have to rhyme to be a good song? And obviously it doesn't. There are plenty of songs that don't rhyme and sound great. I'm not a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, but a ton of his songs, he couldn't care less about rhyming, and that's totally fine. With this one, I ended up sort of having the first verse doesn't rhyme at all. The choruses have a pretty standard rhyme scheme. It's just sort of like in A, B, C, B type thing. The second verse actually has an A, B, A, C rhyme scheme, which I kind of like, just the idea of rhyming the first line of each couplet rather than the second line as you usually see. And then the last verse actually follows the choruses. I wasn't thinking about this at the time, but in retrospect I like the idea of each of the verses having an opposed rhyme scheme to the choruses, and then when you get to the last verse it actually has the same rhyme scheme as the choruses. There's something I like about that narratively, like narrative symmetry or something. Sort of like the idea of, in the third verse, I'm sort of coming to terms with the different things I've been talking about in a way that I was opposed to in the first couple of verses. That might be a little too heady or concept-y, but hey, as long as you like the sound of the song, then awesome. If you had different interpretations of the song, or if something here just sounds like complete and utter BS, let me know. Like I've been saying with my disclaimer at the beginning of these videos, I'm not trying to tell you how to listen to these songs, I'm just presenting where I was coming from. I'm also a very strong believer of death of the author, so what's on the page is there, and years from now, if these songs are still around, these videos might not be, and I might not be to ask. So it's something that I really think about when I'm writing, is I want to make sure that I get everything into the song that I want to in the most concise and clear way possible. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this stuff. Check out the album on Bandcamp. You can get an immediate download of the song Broke Down Car if you pre-order it. The digital album is going to be out November 15th. There's also going to be a CD release show here in Syracuse at the end of November, November 30th. So if you're into this stuff, please check out the rest of my stuff, and hope you enjoy. Thanks again. The second verse actually has an The second verse actually has an A, B, A, B, A, C? Yes.